Ever wondered why airlines still serve your favorite drinks in cans instead of bottles? It might seem like a simple, even random choice, but there's a lot more behind it. It's a decision steeped in science, safety, and psychology. One that affects everything from fuel efficiency to the environment, and even your comfort as a passenger. In fact, the humble aluminum can play a much bigger role in aviation than you might expect. Stick with me until the end, and you'll discover just how this seemingly tiny detail impacts everything from sustainability to your in-flight experience. Ready? Let's dive in. Picture this. You're cruising at 35,000 feet. The seatbelt sign goes off and a flight attendant approaches with a cold, refreshing drink. It's fizzy, it's chilled, and it's always in a can. But why is that? Why not a plastic bottle or even glass? The answer isn't as simple as it seems. This seemingly insignificant decision is actually based on a fascinating combination of factors: weight-saving strategies, environmental concerns, cost efficiency, and even passenger psychology. Over the years, airlines have honed this choice, striking a delicate balance between safety, sustainability, and economics, all while keeping you comfortable in the sky. So buckle up. Let's uncover why airlines have stuck with cans and how this seemingly minor detail is a big deal in the world of aviation. Let's start with the most obvious reason: weight. In aviation, every ounce matters. A single can of soda weighs far less than a glass or plastic bottle of the same size. When you multiply that by the hundreds of passengers and thousands of flights every single day, the weight difference adds up quickly. Why is this important? Well, weight directly influences fuel consumption. Airlines spend billions of dollars on fuel every year, and even a small reduction in weight can translate into millions of dollars in savings. Take this into consideration. Boeing once revealed that reducing an aircraft's weight by just 1 pound can save up to 14,000 gallons of fuel annually across an entire fleet. Now imagine the savings when you swap out heavier bottles for lighter cans. It's a no-brainer. But it's not only about cutting costs. Lower fuel consumption also means fewer carbon emissions. With the aviation industry often under fire for its environmental impact, every little bit counts. So the next time you're sipping from that can, remember, it's not just a drink. It's part of a thoughtful strategy designed to make flights more efficient and eco-friendly. Now let's talk about safety. When you're at cruising altitude, the cabin is pressurized to simulate conditions that are about 8,000 feet above sea level. This pressure difference can play havoc with materials. Glass bottles, for instance, are highly susceptible to breaking when the pressure changes. Even plastic bottles can expand and deform under pressure, making quite a mess for the crew to clean up. Cans, however, are made of aluminum, which is incredibly durable. Designed to handle significant pressure changes, aluminum cans don't crack or shatter like glass, and they maintain their structure even in extreme conditions. This makes cans a much safer option for the unpredictable environment inside an aircraft cabin. And let's not forget about turbulence. If a glass bottle were to break mid-flight, it could turn into a dangerous projectile. Cans eliminate that risk, keeping both passengers and crew safe. Additionally, cans are easier to stack and store, making them a more efficient use of space in the galley. This small detail is vital in aviation, where every inch of space counts. Here's where it gets interesting. You might assume that plastic bottles are more eco-friendly because they're lightweight and recyclable. But here's the catch. While plastic can be recycled, only about 9% of the plastic waste ever produced is actually recycled. The rest ends up in landfills, or worse, the ocean. On the other hand, aluminum cans are a recycling success story. According to the Aluminum Association, nearly 75% of all aluminum ever produced is still in use today. Aluminum cans can be recycled endlessly without degrading in quality, making them one of the most sustainable packaging options on the planet. And the sustainability doesn't end there. Producing aluminum cans requires less energy than manufacturing plastic bottles. Plus, because cans are lighter, they're more fuel efficient to transport, further reducing their carbon footprint. For airlines striving to improve their sustainability credentials, cans are the clear winner. Now let's look at something less obvious, but equally important: passenger perception. Believe it or not, how a drink is served can influence how it tastes, how it feels, and even how you judge the airline. Cans are associated with freshness, chill, and convenience. A cold can, opened right in front of you, feels crisp and clean. It's predictable, contained, and consistent. Plastic bottles? Often associated with being cheap or disposable. Glass bottles? Rare in flight, but even when used, they require extra handling and raise concerns about hygiene and breakage. Airlines think deeply about how every little detail, down to the way a drink is presented, affects the passenger experience. And a cold aluminum can is an easy win. Behind the scenes of every flight lies a complex system of logistics and inventory control. Airlines operate like airborne warehouses, where every single item, from meals to seatbelts, must be accounted for, tracked and restocked with precision. This is where aluminum cans shine again. Cans are uniform in size, shape, and volume. They don't require different shelving, special handling, or repackaging instructions. Everything from the drink cart design to the galley storage is optimized for their standard dimensions. In contrast, plastic and glass bottles vary in height, width, and shape, even across brands. That inconsistency introduces complications, more staff training, different handling protocols, and the risk of incompatible packaging. And when airlines cater globally, using cans means they can source drinks locally in multiple regions, all while keeping the packaging logistics identical. It's the dream of any procurement or operations manager: consistency without compromise. Now let's zoom out to the cabin itself. Aircraft cabin design isn't just about seats and lighting. It's about efficiency, movement, and weight distribution. Every piece of equipment, including food and beverage carts, must fit into this puzzle. Cans allow carts to be loaded more precisely and compactly. Thanks to their uniformity, more drinks can be packed into a single cart compared to irregular-shaped bottles. This means fewer carts are needed, which frees up space and reduces weight even further. Additionally, the serving process is faster. Opening a can takes 1 second. Bottles often require unscrewing, resealing, or dealing with pressure issues. Cans eliminate the guesswork. In today's world, security risks are assessed at every level, including onboard items. Aluminum cans are sealed, tamper-evident, and far harder to manipulate than bottles. If someone tries to tamper with a can, it's immediately noticeable, thanks to the pressurized seal that audibly pops open. Plastic bottles, on the other hand, can be opened and resealed without obvious signs. Glass bottles can be broken and potentially weaponized in dangerous situations. Cans, by contrast, offer tamper resistance, visibility, and minimal misuse potential. From a safety and security protocol perspective, they're a smarter choice, especially when transporting hundreds of passengers in a confined space. Think about what happens between flights. Once the aircraft lands, ground crews rush in to clean, refuel, and restock. Time is short, and every minute counts, especially for budget carriers operating back-to-back flights. Canned beverages are faster to count, restock, and load. They don't require refrigeration during short turnovers. Airlines can purchase them in bulk, warehouse them long-term, and even use local suppliers at international airports, all without changing procedures. This flexibility is especially important during global disruptions, like weather delays, supply chain issues, or health crises. Cans offer operational resilience in a way bottles simply can't match. So, let's recap. Why do airlines still use cans? Because aluminum cans are lighter, saving fuel and reducing emissions, safer under pressure and turbulence, easier to store and stack, more recyclable and eco-friendly, better for branding and passenger experience, economically smart in the long run. In a world where every detail matters, the simple aluminum can is more than just a container. It's a tool of efficiency, safety, and sustainability. Next time you're 35,000 feet in the air, sipping on that fizzy drink, remember, every tiny detail on a plane has been carefully thought through, even your can. If you found this video interesting, give it a thumbs up and share it with a fellow traveler. Subscribe to our channel for more behind-the-scenes aviation insights, tech secrets, and curious flight facts. Got a question about what happens in the skies? Drop it in the comments. We might feature it in our next video. Until next time, keep flying smart.